Hi, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs. They say that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And also, they talk about the haves versus the have-nots. They talk about the elite that rule. They talk about the master class that controls the slave class. They've looked at our use of oil as an addiction to oil, and like in Alcoholics Anonymous, I learned that you have to hit a bottom in order to want to stop some addiction that's harmful to you and to others. You have to hit a bottom. So Karl Marx, he talked a lot about the haves and the have-nots, the bourgeoisie, the proletariat, and they actually had a revolution from the proletariat, the working class. He defined them as the means of production, the people that actually produce things. It didn't work. They used violence. The elite used economic violence and legal unfair judiciary to keep control of the have-nots. And a lot of the have-nots have become homeless these days. And poverty's increased. So Karl Marx wanted to remedy the problem of the haves dominating the have-nots, the rich dominating the poor. And it didn't work. Communism came from that. Marx was atheistic. It's kind of like he was trying to be the God himself. I read this book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance years ago. And he talks about, the author talks about the system and how you can't beat the system. So we've been hearing a lot that the system is broken, and there's a remedy called Donald Trump. And so he fixes it all and everybody surrenders to Trump in a godlike fashion. So Trump is like the God. And that will be good for Trump, but I don't know about who else. So you have the corporations that have the money, and the laws are written by attorneys. Is the bar incorporated? That was weird coincidence. As I was talking about, is the bar incorporated? I just picked some wild blackberries and ate a few on the trail here. Those are all blackberries behind me. So something came out of my mouth toward the screen. I had to pause it to get the food matter off of the screen that came out of my mouth as I was talking about is the bar a corporation? So they write all the laws. The government, the representatives in the Senate, and Matt, what's his name? Matt Talbot. I think. He wrote a book called The Age of something. It's something about the wealth gap, the gap between the rich and the poor. I can't think of it right now. But he was talking about how the police force is paid by the elites, by the government or the elite people. And so the people that are without in poverty, they get investigated and they get a ticket for some faulty light on their vehicle, and it's like more resources than they have to handle this in the court, and they end up homeless in poverty. And there's so many people that they exploit because you can't fight back if you're too poor to fight back. So enough of describing the problem. The solution is the World Fairness Agreement. And the way to make it happen, it can really happen. We get enough people to understand that that's what they want, is to not be done wrong anymore by economics, by religions, by governments, and by other people. And we have a preponderance of the masses, the majority, a huge majority of people worldwide that know what this is about, that know what the World Fairness Agreement is about and what it wants and how it works. It's very simple. Read it. And so when we have the power, it's like in India when Gandhi, he was an attorney, but he was on the side of the people. A lot of the attorneys are. We're going to have attorneys helping the World Fairness Agreement. So they'll incorporate the law of fairness into the system, and it will be primary. The law of fairness will be fundamental, and the other laws will be subject to the law of fairness, because this is what the people want. So any law that's not fair, we can protest this as an unfair law. We can't even understand your writing. Fix it. And they'll have to fix it, because it's not, will rule that the law is unfair. When Gandhi organized the people in India to get free from the British Empire, they were not allowed to buy salt if they made it themselves from the ocean. You had to buy your salt from the empire, or people that were paying taxes to the empire. So he organized this march to the ocean. I don't know how many thousands of people walked to the ocean and made their own salt. And there was too many for the empire to prosecute. Well, you know the history. India was liberated from Great Britain, and now India is the largest democracy on the planet. It's projected to be the most populous, overtaking China. China's the most populous right now, and of course it's communist, derivative of Marxism. And the system can be changed. That's an example. In India, the USA got free from the British Empire over unfair taxation. Taxation without representation was the motto. So when we get everybody to see that this can really work, and it's all it takes is for everybody to join with it. That's all it's required. And we'll get the rich people, the corporations, to change their purpose from making money to helping people. So the people are helping the employer, and the employer's helping the people. So the CEOs, they don't need to take all that money to manage, or the boss people are just managers. They're just people that have a talent in organizing and directing what needs to be done. And they count the same as the other people that are working on the job. Everybody is equally important. Martin Luther King said that everybody deserves respect because we're somebody, we're some person, we're a person. So we deserve respect. Thanks for listening.